It is the best-selling car in the history of the world, a symbol of peace, of love, of freedom. Over 21 million were built, but almost nobody remembers the truth that this beloved little car was born from the mind of one of history's greatest monsters. In 1930s Germany, the dictator Adolf Hitler had a vision. A car so cheap that every family in the country could afford one to fill his brand new highways. He called it the Volkswagen, the people's car. And to build it, he turned to a brilliant, ambitious engineer named Ferdinand Porsche. What Porsche designed was unlike anything else on the road. A rounded, humble little shape with a simple air-cooled engine tucked in the back. People would come to call it the Beetle. But the design was not entirely his own. Much of it was quietly borrowed from a brilliant Czech car called the Tatra, a theft that would haunt Volkswagen in a courtroom for decades. To pay for it, the regime came up with a clever scheme. Ordinary Germans could buy stamps week by week, filling a little book until they had paid for their very own people's car. Hundreds of thousands of people signed up and handed over their savings, but almost none of them would ever receive a car. Because when war broke out, the factories stopped building cars for families and started building machines for the military. The great people's car was a promise the regime never meant to keep. And that gleaming new factory was run in part on the backs of forced labor. When the war ended, the factory lay in ruins, half flattened by bombs, and the little car was seen as a joke. When the victorious powers were offered the factory and the design for free, they turned it down. One British report called the car too ugly and too noisy to ever sell. The great American giants looked at it and walked away. "It isn't worth a single penny," they said. But one British officer saw something everyone else had missed. He got the broken factory running again, coaxed out a handful of cars, and they worked. They were cheap. They were tough. They simply refused to die, and slowly, impossibly, the orders began to come in. The little Beetle went out into the world, and the world fell in love. It crossed the ocean to America, where its honesty and its charm made it a sensation. No fins, no fake chrome, no lies, just a friendly little car that always started. And it sold in numbers no one could ever have dreamed of. And here is the twist history could never have predicted. The car, built as propaganda for a dictator, became the beloved symbol of the exact opposite. Young dreamers painted them with flowers, rebels drove them. It even starred in movies as a cheerful little hero. The people's car had finally found its people, and they stood for peace. By the time the very last one rolled off the line, over 21 million had been built. More than any single car design in history. A machine conceived in the darkest chapter of the 20th century had outlived the evil that created it and become one of the most loved cars ever made. The Beetle story is a strange and beautiful kind of justice, something built to serve tyranny, that ended up belonging to everyone. If you love stories like this, the machines with secret histories hiding in plain sight, do me a quick favor. Tap that like button and subscribe. There's a brand new one here every week, and there are plenty more secrets left to uncover.